It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of this crazy show, and all these questions are from July 3rd, 2025. If you want to get your questions, comments on a future mailbag, you got to be subscribed, you got to watch our live shows, and you have to use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. And again, all of these questions are from loyal subscribers. Let's go to Steven Stockgarten, all the way from Deutschland. Let me know down below where y'all are watching from. We're rocking America, the greatest country on earth. Sorry, Steven. Do you believe Brock Bowers will be a Raider for life? I feel like at this point, coming off the year that he just had as a rookie, I think we could all agree, he has legit upside to be the greatest tight end of all time. If that's a player after the year that he just had that people don't say yes to this question, not that it's deflating, but I don't know how you don't say yes to this, because when a player like this comes across, and if Bowers is such a good dude for also what we were trying to accomplish of, building a franchise, building guys that represent the Shield on and off the field, kind of bring that Max Crosby mentality, and Bowers brings that on the offensive side of the football. So my answer to this is, it better flippin' be. He better be a freaking Raider for life, and if it comes down to money, I would say the only way that this is a no is if a team were to throw out a insane trade offer, like if Todd Monken were to take over as head coach somewhere, and he's like, I'll give you 3 first-round picks for Bowers. I love Bowers. I would at least consider it then. But my answer is going to be yes, he better be. Let's go to I'm So Groovy. Who y'all most excited to watch play for the Raiders this upcoming season? I think it's almost got to be Geno Smith, and it's just because he's the quarterback, and there's been a lot of frustration around the QB position for the Silver and Black. I'd say the next 2 players I'm the most intrigued just to watch. I'd like to see Christian Wilkins because I'm hoping he's out there on the field, so maybe I should say him. But then I'll go with Dante Thornton Jr. I think a Trey Tucker's got to be a name to keep in mind. And, of course, Ashton Genty. Let's go to Sam. What up, dude? I know you're a fantasy guy, Mitch. Who do you think will surprise people this year? Need to know who to draft when I get into the league. Oh, you're saying our league. Yes, $5 super chat, $5 super thanks. You can get in our fantasy football league. I'll say, in terms of your question, because I'm thinking like best bang for your buck for like fantasy, there's a part of me that like Jacoby Myers, I'll always say is a great value because he's somebody that's going to flirt somewhere around that 75, 80 catch number, 1,000 yards, 6, 7 touchdowns is kind of what I anticipate for him, and he's going a lot later. I'll say this, Trey Tucker is an extremely intriguing option to me because when you see receivers in that third year take that next step, that's a big thing. Also, the Raiders haven't extended Jacoby yet. Maybe it's because they are a little bit more confident in Trey Tucker than what we've led on to know. Dante Thornton, I know that people are going to be excited about him, but I'll say Trey Tucker might be the most underappreciated fantasy football player on the Las Vegas Raiders as it stands right now. If you are trying to get in our July fantasy football raffle, $5 super chat or super thanks, like I mentioned earlier, whoever is the MVP of the month of July, you in. We're going to be doing this at the very end of this month, July 31st. We will announce the winner. Fabian Moreno, Rebel Montana, so far are the first 2 people in. Who's going to be going up against me and all of them as well. If you do not know, I like to think of us here as a family. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. That way you can always tune into all of our mailbags all off season long. Let's go to the next question coming in here from Emmanuel. If you can choose to have any player from any team, and I mean any team, who would you get? Patrick Mahomes. And that's probably not the answer y'all want to hear, but to me, he's the best quarterback on the planet. And even if the numbers maybe statistically don't prove that, when it comes down to it, quarterbacks get paid for their performance in a playoff game. I know that Philadelphia just beat the shit out of them, and the last time we saw Mahomes on the field, he didn't look all that great. But it's kind of like that Tom Brady factor where if it's a big game, there's 2 minutes left. If you got your quarterback, people don't want to go up against Patrick Mahomes. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Mahomes, and I legitimately think if Mahomes just came over here to the Raiders, Geno Smith went to Kansas City, the Raiders are the new favorites in the AFC West, and I think they would be top 5 Super Bowl favorites. Not saying they would win the Super Bowl, but they'd be favorites. What up, Seth? Confidence in Paul Amal from 1 to 10. As our starting free safety, I'm going to go with a 5, and I think it's a coin flip because I do have confidence in Paul Amal. Like, if he was our third safety, I'd say that's an 8 out of 10. He's a really good third safety. he's a solid player that has gotten better and better and better. A UDFA, somebody that I did not think was going to make the roster the first year, but he does have a lot of versatility. I think he's the Raiders' plan to try to replace Nate Hobbs a little bit. And because they've lined him up at linebacker, they've lined him up in the box, they're going to drop him back at safety. I just don't think that he has the coverage ability to be an every down free safety with the other players that we have in this secondary. So I'm still hoping we go out and get a Justin Simmons or Julian Blackmon. What up, Scott Matz? Mitch, can you give a shout-out to all the servicemen who fought and died so we can celebrate tomorrow? Also to my niece's husband, Josh, Marine, and my nephew, Billy, USA. I'll say this, man. Air Force, yeah, sorry. I was trying to think of what the F was, but that's on me. Also, you could tell him Father Tom. We could show that one if you have it. We are able to do a lot of the crazy stuff that we do on this show. We're also able to live, I think, in the best country in the world. And, for somebody who did spend a year, and I lived in Germany, and it was an amazing time over there. It did really make me appreciate what we have here. And, when you travel to other places in the world, you have to appreciate what we have. And, you always got to tip your cap to the people that gave up the greatest sacrifice. So, Scott, I appreciate that you did this. Again, don't ever be afraid to hold me accountable for this stuff. And one of our guys, you guys know him as LA Crash Dog or Gunny. He does something that's really, really awesome. If you guys want to donate, you can go to saveawarrior.org/donate. Tell them Father Tom sent you, and it's a great way because I know a lot of military guys are still dealing with PTSD. I think it's just, showing them that, hey, we're here to help in any way possible. So, Scott, thank you very much, man. Speaking of 4th of July, and since we have that 3-day weekend, what is the best 4th of July food? I want to know what your favorite one is. And you know what? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. We're going to do something a little bit different here, but this is going to be Tuna's top 5. If you're watching this show, I hope you answer for Tuna. I'm going to give you my top 5 best 4th of July foods after this YouTube ad break. Now, I'm already going to tell you off the jump, I do not like hot dogs. And the way that I ended up planning this out is I decided to get my protein. I want a burger on the grill. Not any burger. It's got to be on the grill. Corn on the cob. Absolutely love it. Deviled eggs, I like them a lot. But since Alex learned how to make them, she makes these unbelievable ones that I'm going to put them number 3. Watermelon. Good, crisp watermelon on 4th of July. And give me some potato salad. Not the Suavemente potato salad, but I do like it with my burger. Let's go to J&D Auto Collects. Who are the 5 most important players on the team? Geno Smith is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Colton Miller. Number 3, I'm going to go, or number 2, not Colton Miller, Max Crosby. I do think Colton Miller deserves to be in that conversation, but I'm not going to put him up there. Let's go Brock Bowers. Got to be in that conversation. So Geno, Genti, Bowers. I'm going to put Jackson Powers Johnson in that because I do think center is extremely important. So actually, I'll put JPJ over Miller. And to be honest, I'm going to go with Christian Wilkins. Like a healthy Christian Wilkins could really turn around this entire team. So Geno, Genti, Powers, Bowers, and let's go with Wilkins. BSC Raider, doesn't seem like Jack Besh is a non-factor. I mean, I don't know if you're just talking about the fact that he hasn't signed a contract yet because he and 30 other second-round picks haven't signed their deal yet. But I don't really look at it as Jack Besh is a non-factor. I look at this as Trey Tucker's looking the way that we're all hoping Trey Tucker looks. And, Dante Thornton Jr. is going out there doing Dante Thornton Jr. things. And it kind of just reminds me, and I've said this a few times this offseason, when the Raiders drafted Max Crosby in the 4th round, the big comparison for Max that year was Arden Key. Arden Key was somebody that had higher intangibles, considered a better athlete, considered a better prospect by a lot of people, but a lot of talk around camp was like, yo, this Max Crosby guy is different. And I don't think I look at that as like, Arden Key, obviously Arden Key stunk, but I don't look at it as like Jack Besh isn't doing well. I'm looking at it as like we might have actually found something legit in Dante Thornton. He's out competing and outplaying a player that they drafted ahead of him. And if you know anything about Pete Carroll, he's going to put the best players on the field. Taino, Jack Besh gets tight end reps in 12 or 13 personnel. I mean, I could potentially see it, and I only say that because you could see Brock Bowers getting wide receiver reps. You could see Michael Mayer potentially the way that they line them up. Like if you told me right now a really interesting formation And I've said this before on a show, and it's one of the reasons why I thought that they went out and got Jack Bech. There's been a lot of rumors around 2-3 tight end sets. I think a really fun thing to do was imagine if you had Michael Mayer, Jack Bech, Brock Bowers out all on the football field, and you were to line Jack Bech up like a tight end. And then you can either run the football, you can go 3 tight ends, sit there with Bech, Mayer, and Bowers, because Bech, again, is one of the best blocking wide receivers that come out of the draft this year. And then you could also switch it up. You could put Bowers out wide. You could put Bech out wide. I think you can just do so many different things, and that versatility with a team that wants to run the football as much as they do, but they also want to attack the ball down the field with Chip Kelly. I think Jack Bech is going to be one of those players that might not always light up the box score, but he's always going to be somebody that this team does appreciate. Something that I appreciate, a good deal. And if you're looking for an awesome deal on a Raiders t-shirt, I got 2 of them for you that you got to pay attention to. The first one, if you want to get this Raiders t-shirt, it was $50. Now it's $29 at chatsports.com/T sale. It's a t-shirt. You do the math. T-sale. Speaking of math, here's an even bigger discount. If you're looking for a silver Raiders t-shirt, was $50. You can get it now for $22. How? Chatsports.com/T sale. I'm going to put that comment down in the live comment below. Or the link, sorry. Put that link for you guys in the live comments. Also, depending on when you watch this video, it will be in the description. It will be in the comment section as well. So please, please, please keep that in mind. Let's go to John Fallon. Hey, Mitch, what do you think is the Raiders' next big move? I'll just go with what I hope it is. I hope it's signing Justin Simmons. I hope it is signing Julian Blackmon. I'd like it to be a signing of Jadeveon Clowney. I'd also, prefer it to be Pete Carroll, John Spytek moving to the podium and telling me what the hell's going on with Christian Wilkins because, even though I do trust my source, I still want to hear it from the Raiders. And I do believe that he's going to need a second surgery. I'm very confident in what I was told, but at the same time, I want to hear exactly what the hell's going on, and I get they don't have to release that info, but if you're a Raiders fan and you don't care what's going on with Wilkins, I don't even know if you're a fan. Christian Tate, what up, dude? What's more likely, a Trey Tucker extension or trade by the deadline? So you're saying by the deadline, either Tucker's going to get an extension or he's going to get traded? I almost feel bad because of how much I hyped up Tucker early on in this show. But I do actually think the answer is trade, and I say that because he's still got another year. He's entering year 3. He's under contract for 4 years. Now, if Tucker were to go out and put up 1,200 yards or something like that, then the answer is extension. But I think even if he goes out and he puts up 700 yards, which if he puts up 700 receiving yards for the role that he's going to play this season, I actually think that's a really good year for Tucker. So because of that, and because Dante Thornton Jr. can be him, I still have confidence in Jack Bech. Who knows? Maybe Tommy Mellott shows out a lot better than what we think. I am actually going to go with trade, and I kind of feel bad for saying it, but I think it's a more likely thing than an extension. All right, y'all, I want to hear from you. Trey Tucker had 81 targets last season. Is he going to have more or less for the Raiders in 2025? You're about to get it with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, scroll on down and give me your answer. I guess because I said it's more likely that he's going to be traded than getting an extension, I'll go with less if I had to pick. He did have 81 targets last year, and I don't like picking less on that because I do think this Raiders offense is going to click more, but I do also think that there's more mouths to feed. So I'm going to go with less, but I don't like saying it. I don't see him getting more targets than 81 with Jacoby, Brock, Mayer, Genty running the ball. Yeah, give me less on that. Let's go to Crosbula. What up, dude? Sup, fellas? What are the top 3 free agents you think the Raiders could be interested in and why? Crosbula, I put out a video, the top Raiders free agent targets. If you want to go check it out, I rank them from 10 all the way down to 1. I'll tell you this. The top 2 are free safeties, and number 3 is a defensive end. Go check out the video. Tell me what you're thinking. But if you don't like free safety and defensive end, probably not going to like my answer. Let's go to Jacob Hume. What up, Jacob? I've been seeing a lot of your questions on the live show today. Greatly appreciate it. Could we trade Tucker in a second for Scary Terry? I personally do not think so. I think it actually would cost maybe potentially more. And I think if you actually wanted to go out and get Terry McLaurin, I think it would be Jacoby Myers and like a second or third. Because, again, like if you're Washington and you're moving on from McLaurin, you're doing it because there's the monetary value, which, yes, Trey Tucker doesn't cost a lot. Jacoby, zero guaranteed on that contract. You could basically do it as a one-year prove it. But, like, he hasn't really done anything, Tucker, and Jacoby at least has done something. I would be shocked if Washington let him go out the door because I do think he's one of the most consistent receivers in the league. And the reason why you pay him is it's not so much of what, Terry McLaurin. It's because you're hoping that he helps Jaden Daniels continue to look like that guy that he looked like last season. Because if Daniels looks like that, yeah, that's the bigger investment. You invest $30 million in Terry McLaurin. That way you can invest $60, $70 million in Jaden Daniels in a few years. So I don't think it's going to happen. I actually don't. Like, if I was Washington, I would not trade a second-round pick. I wouldn't trade Scary Terry for a second-round pick and Trey Tucker if I had Jaden Daniels. That's just me. If you did not get your question answered, blame Chugs. Don't yell at me. You can follow me on IG and Twitter at MitchellRents365. If you do want to blame Jeremy, you can follow him at Jeremy Chugs as well. I'm just saying you have the ability to do it. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Hopefully everyone had an amazing 4th of July weekend. And if you're not watching this live, you should watch them live because the Madden Sims have been electric. The next Madden Sim that we are going to do, for those of you that do not know, will be this Monday, Week 15. Make sure you pull up to the Raiders.